In the heart of Augusta, Georgia, amid the stirrings of a rising Black intellectual and professional class in the early 20th century, a seed of brotherhood was planted. It was a time of segregation, but also of vision, determination, and unshakable purpose. In the summer of 1923, Brother Thomas B. Hargrave sat at his desk preparing to take a leap of faith. A proud initiate of Beta, chapter of Omega, Psi Phi, Brother Hargrave saw beyond himself. He saw a need in Augusta, Georgia. In a heartfelt letter to Brother Johnson, he wrote, "We need a graduate chapter in Augusta. I know 2 or 3 men there, and I am sure we could find others. We can organize there." Hargrave's vision was bold, but he was undeterred. While preparing for a new role as field secretary of the Presbyterian Board, he was also preparing the groundwork for something bigger. Psi Omega. On June 13th, 1923, that vision was formally recognized. A typed letter from the Grand Keeper of Records formally acknowledged his efforts. "We have advised the Vice Grand Basileus and have secured his authority for you to proceed." These were more than words. These were the sparks that would ignite Psi Omega's founding. And in over a year later, September 26th, 1924, Brother Ellie Redmond received a letter that would help shape history. The name of the chapter will be Psi Omega, of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity, signed by Grand Keeper of Records, Campbell Johnson. This document signaled more than just approval. It marked the official birth of Psi Omega in Augusta. And with unwavering perseverance and fortitude, Brother Thomas Berrien, alongside A.J. Kendall and others, initiated 7 men on August 9th, 1925, formally establishing the Mother Pearl of Augusta during a transformative period in Augusta's Black community.
As a matter of fact, one of the more interesting aspects about the Black community in Augusta during this time period is that you have this transition of leadership. And there are a new crop of leaders coming into play in the 1920s. And there you have Psi Omega and some of the founding members and early initiates of the chapter.
The men chosen to lead Psi Omega were the best of Augusta's Black professional class. Leaders in education, medicine, journalism, and business. Visionaries, Dr. Joseph W. Green, Professor J.A. Gabriel, George M. Johnson, Edgar Matthews, Dr. Thomas Walter Josie, J. Charles Martinborough, and A.T. Jackson. The newspaper hailed them as torchbearers for a generation, planning ways and means by which they may be able to aid and inspire the young men of the race, and especially of Augusta, to higher attainments. Thanks to the unwavering dedication of Brother Hargrave, Ellie Redmond, and later Thomas Berrien, the vision became reality. Psi Omega was born not just as a chapter, but as a movement for leadership, excellence, and uplift in Augusta, with notable initiates such as J.C. Martinborough and Dr. T.W. Josie, who left their marks for decades to come.
Josie was very instrumental in the Stony Medical Association. For example, this was a collective of doctors, dentists, and pharmacists in the Augusta area. Dr. Josie was the medical examiner for all colored schools in Augusta during the era of segregation. So he was everywhere. Brother Martinborough, who rose through the rank of Sergeant Major during World War I, would find himself as editor of the Black section of the Augusta Chronicle, often called Notes or News Among the Colored. And so his goal was to bring the Black community together, allowing the Black community to understand what was going on in society, what was happening, for example, at Tabernacle Baptist Church, what was happening at the Haynes Institute. And so Brother Martinborough was the editor of this column for many, many years.
In the midst of America's reckoning with itself, with justice, with change, Psi Omega chapter stood firm, not just as witnesses to history, but as participants and protectors of Augusta's Black community.
The Brothers of Psi Omega were right there on the forefront of making commitments and support the activities to make sure that civil rights and the voting rights were really accepted and supported within the community.
We presented ourselves to the community as a chapter of help. We were out there to help every way that we possibly could. Our influence was felt by everybody. We had people working behind the scene to try to eliminate some of these things. Doing our marches and all of the other activities that went on during that time to eliminate segregation. We had many of our young people jailed, and Psi Omega paid the bail to get many of them out of jail. We didn't mind doing that.
We went to meetings and we talked and discussed where we were and what we needed to do. It was always a positive step that the men of Augusta, the Omega men of Augusta, wanted to make sure that our chapter was a leader in the movement as well. It wasn't so much about the fraternity as it was the movement itself, and we wanted to be sure that our chapter was willing to follow along and help.
People were protesting segregation and margin, and it was a period of change. For me, it was a period of change that Psi Omega participated in. Psi Omega was active, very active as a chapter.
As Augusta stood at the crossroads of civil unrest and the fight for equality, one voice rose above the noise, a pastor, a leader, and a soldier in the struggle for justice.
So in the 1950s, Tabernacle brought in as a new minister a young Morehouse graduate by the name of Charles Spencer Hamilton, Brother Charles Spencer Hamilton. It was Reverend Hamilton, whose Church of Tabernacle, that the civil rights activists, the nonviolent protesters, they practiced their nonviolent craft at Tabernacle.
As the pages of history turned from segregation to civil rights, from protest to progress, Psi Omega men were there, shaping the city's path forward. Their contributions were so profound, the city etched their names into stone and into the hearts of future generations. Across the city, statues, monuments, and buildings carry the names of Psi Omega men whose leadership left a permanent mark.
Ike Washington was an educational pillar in this community, a man of many talents, principal at C.T. Walker, Laney, A.R. Johnson Junior High School. He was on the school board. He did a little bit of everything in this community. The only building on the campus of AU Somerville today, the only building named for an African American, is named for Drs. Ike and Justine Washington. He was also a member of the Psi Omega chapter of Omega Psi Phi.
These are more than memorials. They are living testaments to lives of purpose, sacrifice, and uplift. Proof that the legacy of Psi Omega does not fade, it stands. A legacy lived not only in what they built, but in how they led. Brother Robert T. Church was another one of those leaders. As the first Georgia regional representative for Omega Psi Phi, he laid the foundation for regional leadership that still shapes Psi Omega's work today. And what stands with it is a tradition of excellence, one carried forward through service, leadership, and Psi Omega's unwavering commitment to uplift.
We had a lot of professional men in Augusta who are Omegas, educators in the field of law, medicine, businesses, and they stood out because they was actively involved. Not only involved, but they were committed and gave back to the community.
That commitment continues through our nationally mandated programs, cornerstones of Psi Omega's service. From Achievement Week to Talent Hunt, from youth mentorships to voter registration, Psi Omega has remained deeply rooted in the community. Over the years, they've donated more than 15,000 pints of blood and awarded upwards of over $500,000 in scholarships. Investments not just in service, but in saving lives and shaping futures.
Our fundraiser was done in order to give scholarships to our young people. And we did at that time.
Because for Psi Omega, giving back isn't just tradition. it's a responsibility, one that continues to light the way for generations to come.
Every generation of the Black community in the Augusta area, Omega Psi Phi was at the forefront of leadership. And Psi Omega was right there to shepherd this community, to grow this community, to advance this community.
We were always there. We are still here. We are Psi Omega, and the legacy lives on.
My name is Charles Lambach.
James Goldman Sr.
Brother Robert Bush.
I'm Wayne Myers Jr.
And I've been a member of Psi Omega, of Omega Psi Phi fraternity here in Augusta for 55 years. And of course, I've been financial for 55 years.
62 years.
65 years.
75 years. I've been in Omega for 75 years. And I've been financial all 75.